Hey guys, it is April from Getting Huggy With It. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about the 5 books that I read this spring that I completely fell in love with. These are my top 5 favorite books from spring. So the first book I fell in love with was The Boston Girl by Anita Diamant. I have never read Anita Diamant before, and this has sparked a complete interest and kind of obsession about tracking all of her books down and buying them all because I love this book so much. This follows a young Jewish girl, and it is essentially her growing up story. So you follow her making amazing friends as a teenager, and you follow her into young adulthood where she meets her husband. And this was funny and moving, and what I loved most about this was the main character and how she just had this ability within herself to remain positive even when really horrible things were happening to her. She was able to take some good from it, and I just loved it. The next one I'm kind of cheating with because I'm using 2 books as one. I hope you don't mind. But it's The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet and A Closed and Common Orbit by Becky Chambers. Becky Chambers is a great writer. I will follow her to the ends of the earth and apparently beyond because this is a space series. The whole series is set in space, and The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet follows a group of people. Some of them are humans, some of them are aliens. Their job is essentially to punch holes into the universe so that other spaceships, when they're flying through space, they'll have shortcuts. Now, this is very much like a character study. Not a ton happens in this book, but what I loved about it was meeting all of these amazing characters and just getting completely absorbed into the world. The world, I think, and the world building, I think, is enough. You don't need tons of crazy plot twists and everything because you're learning so much about these characters. In A Closed and Common Orbit, you follow one person or alien or what have you from A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. You follow one of those characters and then a cast of new characters, and I fell in love with them just as much as I did all of the characters in Long Way. This is a great introduction, I would say, for people who are like new to fantasy, sci-fi stuff. I don't seem to pick up a lot of that genre, so I was so happy to have fallen in love with a series about space. The third book, I can honestly tell you, is now one of my favorite books of all time. It is Lily and the Octopus. You can't read this book and not fall in love. Like, if you've ever had a dog or known a dog, I think you just fall in love. This follows Ted, who is a single man, and he has a little dachshund named Lily. Now one day he looks at Lily and he notices that there's this this formation on her head, and it looks like it's in the form of an octopus. So he calls it the octopus the whole time, but everybody else knows that it's cancer. And it is about his love for his dog and him trying to fight this octopus. It sounds crazy, but it's so good. Like, literally, you will cry so much, and you will laugh a ton. A dog with cancer, it sounds like it would just be like the most depressing book of all time, but it's actually not. It's celebrating dogs, and as a dog owner myself, I just fell in love. The next book I loved was Since We Fell by Dennis Lehane. I could be pronouncing his name wrong, so I'm really sorry for that. Now, he is best known for having written Mystic River. He also wrote Shutter Island. Those have become films, and I think those are pretty popular films. And he actually writes a lot for the film industry, and I didn't know that until I completely fell down the rabbit hole of learning all about this author, because I just need more. Since We Fell is a thriller. It's about a woman who is a shut-in. She is a shut-in because she was a reporter and she had a complete meltdown on camera. And after that meltdown, she couldn't go out into public. She had a lot of anxiety, like extreme anxiety. So she's a shut-in. And the book starts out with her on a boat and having killed her husband. And you don't know why, because he seems like the perfect guy. He seems like the perfect guy. What I found so interesting about this book was that it was like non-stop action and it was all over the place. When I first started reading this book, I was like, oh, like, did I get confused? This is not what this blurb on the back says. Like, we're following a totally different story. But it all comes around. You just need to be a little bit patient. I loved this book. It's so much fun. The final book that I adored this spring was The Distant Hours by Kate Morton. I always try to read a Kate Morton in the spring or summer, and I just squeezed this one into spring. I finished it yesterday and totally adored it. This follows a woman who receives a letter in the mail, and it's addressed to her mom. And this letter was posted, oh gosh, 30-something years ago, 50 years ago, like a long time ago. Her mom receives the letter and she immediately just shuts herself away in her room because this letter has a lot of meaning to her, and it's something from the past that really affected her. But her mom is not very much an open book. She's very closed. And so this main character, Edith, she tries to find out what the secret from her mom's past is. And it leads her back to a castle where the three Blythe sisters live. And there is mystery and intrigue and romance and heartbreak. I have to say this is probably Kate Morton's darker book. The other books also have mystery, and there's always a house that's mysterious. But The Distant Hours was very somber and quite dark. But I really liked it. I did find the end slightly rushed, and I wished that she had spent a bit more time with it. Like, I would have read for 50 more pages. No problem. I'm with you, Kate. So I wish that she had just taken her time at the end. But I still loved it so much. So those were the books that I absolutely loved this spring. What did you guys read this spring that just filled your heart or blew you away that you just could not put down? I would love to know. So leave that in the comments below, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.